Hey guys, the Fire Brothers here. It's just me, and before we begin, my last video showcased my entire Transformers collection, and I found it very funny how a lot of you guys were like, "Oh my god, fire skin reveal, fire hand reveal, fire neck reveal." Even though this is nothing new, like I've shown like these body parts, for lack of a better word, in like previous live streams and stuff like that. I don't know why some of you guys are impressed, but even more impressive, in my community tab, I actually asked you guys to try and guess how many characters I have in this one picture. And one mad lad rose to the challenge. The Diamond Chris Productions, or as it's most commonly known, Chris777, in my Discord server, did a full list of every single character that was there, and he got everything right, I think minus some exceptions. So yeah, good job, Chris. If you're watching this video, well, when I upload this video, you get the one and only Squeaker role in my Discord server. Congrats! It's gonna be limited time only because there's only one Squeaker, but yay, you got that. You're special. Good job. I'm proud of you. So inspirational. Anyways, now I can finally talk about Rise of the Beast. Now this video is your typical, hey, I'm gonna talk about all the characters that we're gonna see in the movies, and while I could do that thing that a lot of people in the Transformers YouTube community does, and you know, put some music in the background and just put the images alongside, you know, text saying, oh, Optimus Primal, oh, Air Racer, oh, Tigerhawk, and so on. I'm not gonna do that. This video, it's more to help you guys build your own robot cast, as well as to explain my list and why I think these characters are gonna appear in the movie itself, because we have some producer statements and some, you know, confirmed slash conflicting information which a lot of people are not taking into account. And not only that, but in this video I'm gonna be explaining exactly what's going on with the cast. Some people say it's way too large, some people say it's way too small. Most people seem to be kind of in the middle. Personally, I'm in the camp that I think the cast is a little too small at the moment. Yes, I know, it sounds shocking because people say we have 5 factions, and when people say 5 factions, people immediately think, oh yes, 5 Autobots, 5 Maximals, 5 Predacons, 5 Decepticons, and 5 Terrorcons, which that's not even close to the truth. I made a video, and I know for my last couple of videos I've been plugging this one video a lot, but in that video I explained the relationship of the Terrorcons with everyone else, why we won't see much of the Decepticons in this movie, if anything at all, and how the whole cast slash, you know, plot of the movie is sort of gonna play out. So I recommend checking that video if you want a very in-depth explanation. But here I'm just gonna give you the basics. So real quick, the Autobots and Maximals, people think of them as 2 separate factions. I think you're wrong. We should think of them as one faction, because typically in Transformers it's like we got our good guys and then we got everyone else, our bad guys. Age of Extinction, it was kind of a 3 faction war. We got the Autobots, we got Megatron, well, Galvatron's, you know, KSI army, and then we got Lockdown's mercenaries, which they didn't work together, but they weren't exactly allies either. In total, so far, we have 7 characters in our good guy cast. Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, RC, Mirage, Optimus Primal, Air Racer, Rhinox. This good guy cast in itself is typically, you know, around the range of good guy characters we get for the movies. The Terrorcons so far only have 2 confirmed characters, being Scourge and Nightbird. The Predacons have 0 characters at the moment. I think they're saving them for way later. And the Decepticons have 0 characters confirmed. Now, something that it's very interesting is the characters that we know for a fact are in the movie right now. Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, RC, Mirage, Primal, Air Racer, Rhinox, Scourge, and Nightbird. I think those guys are gonna be our main characters. Well, maybe RC and by extension Air Racer and Rhinox are gonna be more of like background slash second rate characters. Think of it like how Ironhide and Ratchet were in Revenge of the Fallen, 2007, and Dark of the Moon. As for the Terrorcons, which are our main villains, and typically in Transformers movies, when we get our main characters revealed, we usually also get our main bad guys revealed. I think Age of Extinction was the only time where our bad guys weren't revealed till much later on. But for all the other Transformers movies, even The Last Night, we got the reveal of Megatron, you know, as one of our big bads pretty early on. So Scourge and Nightbird are gonna be the endgame bosses, the finale, you know, the big boss that we need to defeat. And that by extension tells us that the Predacons and Decepticons are kind of, I wouldn't say irrelevant. I will say the Decepticons are irrelevant, but the Predacons are more important. Now, before I start explaining, you know, my choices, I wanna like tell you guys my thought process. How did I arrive at these conclusions? And you know, why I think we're gonna see, you know, X amount of characters in the movie, because we have quite a bit of information, and I want you guys to like know exactly, so whenever you go ahead and make your own robot cast list for the movie, you have a better understanding of, you know, how many characters can we expect and what type of characters we can expect in this movie. Lorenzo has gone on record as to saying that they have somewhat exhausted the battle between Decepticons and Autobots, and he said that we're gonna see villains that we never seen before. We're gonna see Autobots we never seen before, and we're going to see a lot of elements that they have never done before. Those elements being, you know, the Beast Wars characters, but they also mentioned characters we never seen before. Now, at this moment, I think the Autobot cast is very near completion. I think we're only gonna get 5 Autobots in this film, because again, I don't think you should consider the Maximals and Autobots as a separate faction. Yes, they are technically separate, but they're gonna be the good guy faction. They're gonna be teaming up, so I think there's gonna be an equal amount of Autobots and Maximals. If not, maybe we'll see a few more Maximals, but the Autobots are probably gonna be relatively small in this movie. Now, the fact that Lorenzo also said the battle against the Decepticons has been, you know, kind of exhausted, leads me to believe that the Decepticons are gonna be sitting this movie out. We're probably gonna see Decepticon cameos. I think for a fact we're gonna see either, you know, like say a Barricade cameo, a Starscream cameo, or a Blackout cameo, because they're trying to link this movie with 2007. Like, they're still trying to link it, even though it really isn't part of the timeline anymore. It's very weird. Last of made a video covering how Bumblebee's vehicle mode has like the little 2007 callbacks, because they're still trying to like connect in with, you know, 2007. So if they really want to do that, and if the Decepticons are going to be, for the most part, sitting this movie out, I think that by the end of the movie, we're going to be on a place that could probably theoretically lead us to 2007. And we're going to see the Decepticons landing on Earth. We'll probably see Barricade, Starscream, and Blackout, or, you know, maybe some other Decepticons arrive and starting the events of 2007. And that's going to be kind of our post-credit scene, kind of like how we got one for the Bumblebee movie, where it was Optimus Bumblebee looking up at the sky as more Autobot reinforcements came, or even the last night where we saw Quintessa making plans to kill Unicron. Now, this next part is very important. This is why I'm mentioning that we should think of Autobots and Maximals as one singular faction, because the Autobots are aligned with the Maximals, and the Maximals are aligned with the Autobots. The Maximals are rivals with the Predacons, and the Predacons are rivals with the Maximals. They are, you know, the Beast version of the Autobots and Decepticons. But the Terrorcons are rivals with the Maximals and Predacons. So in a way, we have an Age of Extinction situation here. We have our good guy faction, we got, you know, our bad guy faction, which will be the Predacons, kind of like, you know, taking the place of Galvatron's KSI army in Age of Extinction. And then we got the Terrorcons, who, you know, don't really like any of the factions, and they're kind of like the big bats of the film, much like Lockdown was in Age of Extinction, him and his mercenaries. So, and knowing that the Decepticons are going to be sitting this movie out for the most part and likely be relegated to just a cameo, you can just say, oh, we got 3 factions, that's it. We got a huge Autobot cast, and then we got literally everyone else who's an enemy. The movie budget is relatively the same as Transformers 2, but still lower than Age of Extinction and The Last Night. And Transformers 2 had a big budget, and this is the amount of characters we got with that budget. And keep in mind that the studio who produced The Lion King, I know it's a horrible movie, the reboot one I mean, but the graphics look very good. Like, I think they're the best production company to be managing the 3D aspect of this movie. It's great, it's smart. So we could have an entire CGI movie, much like The Lion King. So, you know, we are gonna have robot screen time. They are gonna be the focus, so that's a good part. So you can go a bit ballistic with the amount of characters we can have in this movie. But I will say that the good guy cast is probably gonna be smaller, and the bad guy cast is gonna be like not huge, but it's gonna be a little bigger, relatively bigger. Now, Lorenzo also went on record as to say that the Bumblebee movie was supposed to be smaller scale, and the new movie is gonna be big scale, and it's gonna have a lot of spectacle. This was in response to someone asking them that the Bumblebee movie had fewer characters, and how does the new movie compare in size. So when he says that the B movie, all of those characters, all of that list that you're seeing right now on the screen, that's small scale. When he means full scale, I really do think he means something along the lines of Revenge of the Fallen. So when he says we can expect to see a lot of characters, I think we better believe him. I think he does plan to go all out for this movie. In the Bumblebee movie, we had a total of 15 characters, not counting the Seekers. And in this movie, we have a total of 8 characters so far. Characters that got revealed, that is. Now, this is a minor thing to note, but I think it's very important for later. Someone asked Lorenzo and Stephen Capo Jr., the director of this movie, what their favorite Transformers were. Lorenzo said that he had a softness for Ironhide, but Bumblebee was his favorite character up to this point. While Steven said that his favorite character is in this movie, but he hasn't been introduced yet. Now, keep in mind, he said him, so we know it's a masculine character, which I know it doesn't tell us much because you know how little that narrows it down. But if you look at Stephen Capo Jr.'s history with Transformers, and yes, unlike Michael Bay, he did grow up with the franchise, he says that the origins of Transformers were him seeing it on VHS tapes. He watched all of the G1 cartoon and got into Beast Wars when he was a teen. So we know that his favorite character should be around the Beast Wars to, you know, G1 margin. And I have a good theory as to who that guy is. Now I'm finally gonna talk about the robot cast. So I'm gonna get the obvious one out of the way. In the Decepticons, I'm gonna say we're gonna see 3 Decepticons at the very least. Now keep in mind, I'm saying at the very least. We could see more. The Decepticons could probably play a more prevalent role in this film. Maybe they'll, you know, they'll actually be involved with the conflict between the Maximals and Predacons, but honestly, I just don't think so. I think Lorenzo made it very clear that they want to, you know, change the formula a bit, so having the Decepticons here wouldn't make that much amount of sense. Then again, you can't have a movie without the Decepticons, and we know that the Decepticons are going to be part of this film, because in the announcement event for Rise of the Beast, the Decepticon insignia was seen alongside Predacons, Terrorcons, and, you know, the Maximals and Autobots. So they are going to be a part of this film, we just don't know in which capacity. And much like I mentioned earlier, I think that the characters we can expect to see are Barricade, Starscream, and Blackout. They're gonna like probably land on Earth somewhere during the ending of the movie, and they're gonna, you know, set up the events of 2007. Like Starscream's probably gonna order Barricade to look around human cities for the Allspark or whatever, and Starscream and Blackout head up to their respective, you know, human military bases to scan their vehicle modes. People are probably gonna say, wait, if this is gonna connect to 2007, then how are Optimus, Ironhide, Ratchet, and Jazz gonna arrive from space if Optimus is already on Earth by the end of this movie? Well, I think there's a pretty simple solution for that. So we got Maximals and Predacons on Earth. They weren't just born on Earth. I'm sure they had to come from somewhere. So I think the Maximals have a ship, the Axolon, which the Autobots are probably gonna use later in the movie, like towards the end of the movie, to like leave the planet and regroup with other Cybertronians outside the planet. Because Lorenzo, unfortunately, when he was, you know, in his, oh yeah, this movie's still part of the Bayverse for the B movie, he said, oh, you know, Optimus and his Autobots come to Earth, but then they leave, regroup, and then come back. I still think that's kind of stupid, but if they really want to connect to 2007, and it looks like they still want to do that, then that's probably the excuse they're gonna write in. Optimus Prime, RC, Mirage leave, and Bumblebee stays behind because he's gonna, you know, look out for the Allspark or whatever. And Ben, that's how we connect to 2007. It's not the, you know, smoothest way to connect to that movie, but then again, the timeline is kind of a mess at this point. Now, for Autobot cast, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, RC, Mirage are our confirmed characters. This setup is pretty good. You know, we have a small replica of our 2007 cast with RC standing in for Jazz and Mirage in a way standing in for Ratchet, although he's not a medic. So we need some muscle here, you know what I'm talking about? So I was gonna say we could see Ironhide in this movie because Lorenzo did say that he had a soft spot for him and he's a fan favorite. But he also said we are gonna see characters we never saw before. So in my opinion, the final Autobot slot's probably gonna be taken by either Ironhide or a new character. Because RC is a character that we already saw in the movies, Revenge of the Fallen, and while Mirage, well, he was, you know, alluded / mentioned to be Dino. The situation is kind of a mess, so I think we need another new character. So we'll probably be seeing someone like, I don't know, let's say Trailbreaker or Roadbuster, someone with more muscle, you know, more meat in him. The Autobot and Maximal cast are contrasting each other. Like, look, we got Optimus Prime and then we got Optimus Primal. We got RC and we got Air Racer, female counterpart. We got Rhinox, a big buff character, but we have no big buff character as from the Autobots. The movie's gonna be about Optimus Prime, you know, learning from Optimus Primal how to lead his troops, how to be a good leader and all of that jazz. So what better way to like help with that theme than to have Optimus Prime and Optimus Prime will have a similar looking cast, or at least, similar to some degree. Which leads me to my next choices for the Maximals, Cheetor and Rattrap. Cheetor will be the counterpart of Bumblebee in the Beast Wars in the Maximal side, and he's a pretty iconic Beast Wars character. And I will also put Rattrap in there because he's kind of anti-authority in a way. I mean, during the first few episodes of Beast Wars, he didn't really listen to Optimus Primal, so he will have some similarities with Mirage, so we can contrast those two, so we can have some more compare and contrast from the Maximal cast and the Autobot cast. So in total, we're probably gonna see 10 characters from our good guy faction at minimum. I think we could still see some more Beast Wars characters. We could probably see Tigatron, but I kinda don't think he will appear in here because, well, I mentioned in my previous video why I don't think we're gonna see the entire Season 1 cast, or why we're gonna see some characters missing. So if you wanna check that video out for the long explanation, go click on it. But yeah, this is my cast at the moment. Basically the OG Maximal cast plus Air Racer, and the Autobots, the cast we have right now, plus some other Autobots we haven't seen before. Now, I'm gonna go to the Predacons. I'm gonna skip the Terrorcons for now because you'll see why. Now, the Predacons were described to be reptilian, and since I feel like our Terrorcon cast is kind of small at the moment, I feel like the Predacons are gonna be, the KSI army of this movie. It's not like they're gonna be shafted or in the background. They're gonna be present because they, were described to have some relevance in the film. But I think that it's safe to say they're gonna have like a cast that's equal in size to the Maximal cast, if not a little bigger. So by reptilians, I think it's safe to say Beast Wars, Megatron, Pterosaur, and Dinobot. Now I know Dinobot's a good guy in the original Beast Wars cartoon and in the Netflix Kingdom series, but this is a weird thing that Hasbro has been doing a lot lately, and especially throughout the years with Dinobot. He is always with the Predacons. He starts off with the Predacons and eventually joins the Maximal. So we could have Dinobot be here as part of the Predacons, and maybe like as the film goes on, he joins the Maximals. And I feel like Dinobot is Stephen Capo Jr.'s favorite character because, well, he's the most popular character in front of the Beast Wars cartoon. Everyone loves Dinobot, and keep in mind, he said his favorite character is not in the film yet. So it's not Optimus, it's not Bumblebee, it's not Optimus Primal, and my guess is that if he were to have a favorite character, it will probably be Cheetor or it will be Dinobot, one of those two. I don't know, I just get the feeling he's that type of guy. He will like either Cheetor or Dinobot. I agree this is more of a guessing game, but since these three characters fit the reptilian, role, I feel like they're pretty much confirmed. I decided to also add Waspinator and Rampage. Now, I know that Rampage isn't exactly reptilian. Well, he's not reptilian at all, but whatever. I feel like Waspinator is just too iconic not to have in this movie, and we need some comedic relief because all the Transformers movies have that comic relief character. So what better character to fill in that role than my boy Waspinator? And Rampage, because I feel like he will be an impulsing, dangerous force to like give the Predacons some muscle, kind of like how Brawl was in 2007. So yeah. Now, the next character is a female character for the Predacons. I was gonna say Black Arachnia initially, but think about this. The Maximals have a female, the Terrorcons have a female, the Autobots have a female. The only ones without a female so far are the Predacons. So Black Arachnia makes sense because she's an OG character. The problem is that she's not exactly reptilian, so saying that she could appear in this movie, like, it's not off the table, but her chests are a little smaller. But I was thinking, and Black Arachnia's character is too similar to Nightbird's character. Nightbird is supposed to be the treacherous kind, the one that, kind of flirts with everyone to get her way and does whatever she wants. That's basically Black Arachnia from Beast Wars. So I don't think we'll see Black Arachnia in this movie because, it would be pretty redundant to have two characters, just basically have the same personality and do the same things. I'm gonna go on a limb and say we'll see Scold or a new female Predacon. Now, the reason why I say Scold actually appears on the IDW Beast Wars comic, which is basically a retelling of Beast Wars, which, go check that comic out. It's very good. I really, really want to talk about that comic. It's very good. I love it. Scold is a new character, and she's also reptilian, so, perfect fit right there. She could be here. The problem is that I'm not sure if, like, the producers might want to add a random, Predacon from the IDW comics into the movie. They could fill in the roster and add on some canon fodder, but regardless, I think we'll see at least one female Predacon in this movie. As for who it could be, that's up to you, but I don't think it's Black Arachnia, so we might see someone new. And the Predacons also could use some more muscle, so that's what I'm saying. it will probably be someone like Skull, who's big, buff, and got described in the comic to have to be like really strong and have incredible strength. So at minimum, the Predacon Cast is probably gonna be around 6. And now for the Terrorcon Cast. Now the Terrorcon Cast got mentioned to basically be against everyone. They have a personal vendetta against the Autobots more than the Maximals and Predacons, but again, I'm plugging my previous video a lot, but this is very, very important. In that video, I basically mentioned, and I'm summarizing, so if you want a full in detailed explanation as to why this is gonna happen in the movie, go check that video out. Here I'm just going over the spark notes. The Terrorcons are basically space poachers. They're here to hunt the Maximals and Predacons for trophies. They kill a bunch of them in the past, so that's why we don't see many other Maximals and Predacons in this movie. And if we do see them, they're gonna be like battle damaged, old and rusty, with the steampunk kind of aesthetic to them, which is the look that we know for a fact they're gonna have in this movie. Now the Terrorcon faction is probably like the weirder one to like make out what characters we're gonna see for this movie, because Scourge and Nightbird are kinda random. I mean, Scourge is basically inspired from the RID Scourge from way back, and Nightbird was a Decepticon in G1, but not really at the same time. So my guess is that Terrorcons are gonna be made of characters that are kind of commonly associated to be factionless or are gonna be less relevant. One of the popular theories for one of the new Terrorcons, the orange one, is that's Wild Wheel. I mean, it kind of fits. I can definitely see the resemblance there. I'm a bit skeptical about it. If it's in fact Wild Wheel, I'll be surprised. But someone else that I think could be part of the Terrorcons is Double Dealer. The Terrorcons seem like mercenaries to me from what I'm getting so far about how they're gonna be in this movie, how they're planning to be in this movie. So Double Dealer, a character that has been commonly associated with mercenaries, seems to make a whole lot of sense to me. Now I think we'll see 2 more Terrorcons, because in Peru, when we see like the cars for the Terrorcons, we see that there's a whole bunch of them. Some of those, granted, are stunt cars, but I think we'll see at least 2 more unique characters in there. I mean, one of them is probably Double Dealer, and one of them is probably a new character that we haven't seen before. It could be another truck-based character, because so far the Terrorcons seem to be like almost entirely trucks. And finally, this wouldn't be a Transformers movie if we don't have Cannon Fodder. And since the Decepticons are going to be sitting this movie out, we're not going to see Seeker. At least I don't think we will. The Predacons, I don't think they're gonna have an army of Scorponauts like they did in Kingdom. Like, seriously, that was very stupid. Because remember, the Maximals and Predacons are in hiding. They're hiding from the Terrorcons. That's why we had the Maximal caves. That's why their factions are severely reduced, and why most of them are battle damaged. And much like I mentioned in that video, our Terrorcons are our big bats. So if anyone's gonna have an army, it's gonna be the Terrorcons. Now, when I say army, I'm not saying like Battle of Chicago. Oh my god, the Terrorcons had a whole armada. They're gonna invade Peru. They're gonna destroy the entire place. No, it's gonna be smaller scale. Think of it more like the Revenge of the Fallen Decepticons. They had like a small army in Egypt where they, were trying to prevent Sam from reaching Optimus Prime's carcass. Wow, that sounds really weird. But you know what I mean. But guess what we saw in Peru? The Scourge. Now guess who we saw next to Scourge? A bunch of Scourges. Now, Scourge not only is the name of, the character from RID, which is basically like an evil version of Optimus Prime. Scourge is a G1 character who was a servant of Unicron. Now, what did Scourge have in G1? That's right, an army of sweeps! I think Scourge is gonna have a mini army of sweeps. They're sort of gonna look like him, but not really. Just so you can tell them apart. And before you say this sounds ridiculous, well, we have had Transformers in the past who look like other Transformers. We got Sideways clones, we got Constructicon clones, we got like a bunch of clones in the previous movies. So this isn't exactly like a new concept or anything like that. We could see an army of sweeps, a smaller scale army, because, Scourge has like multiple look-alike vehicles. And, I understand the point of having extras, just in case your vehicle gets damaged. That way you can just use the second vehicle to shoot some more scenes. But Scourge has one way too many, I don't think you need that many. Unless they're not using them for stunts. Unless they're using them because they are actually their own individual characters. And that's where our Cannon Fodder army comes from. Not from the Predacons, not from the Decepticons, but from the Terrorcons. And yeah, guys, that's my total final cast for Rise of the Beast. I I'm not gonna make another one of these videos until we get the first trailer for Rise of the Beast, then we can start speculating some more. But this is my prediction so far. Good Guy Cast, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, RC Mirage, and either Brawn/Ironhide or a new muscle character. And then we got Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Air Racer, Rattrap, and Rhinox. Terrorcons will have Scourge, Nightbird, Double Dealer, Wild Wheel, one more we haven't seen, and an army of sweeps. The Predacons will have Beast Wars Megatron. Oh, and by the way, this is how you get around the whole, Netflix joke of, oh, there's two Megatrons so we can't tell them apart. Just add a Beast Wars Megatron. Megatron's not gonna show up in this movie, so just say that this Megatron looks up to, the actual Megatron. He named himself after him. Like there, problem solved. There's no confusion. You can have Beast Wars Megatron here and still, market/sell toys of a Megatron to the masses. Dinobot, Pterosaur, Waspinator, Rampage, and Scold, or a new female character. With the Decepticons having cameos, either being Barricade, Starscream, and Blackout. I think those three are the most likely. But yeah guys, that's my list. I'm sorry this video was super long, but I needed to go very in depth as to why I think this is our definitive, Rise of the Beast cast. Granted, I'm probably wrong about some of the more minor characters, like, Scold, maybe Pterosaur and Rampage, some of the Decepticon cameos, but for the most part, I think I nailed it. I think that at minimum, we'll see 10 members of our Good Guy cast, 5 Terrorcons, not counting the army of sweeps, and 6 Predacons, with, probably 3 Decepticon cameos. At the very least, this is our bare minimum. We could see more, and that's totally fine, but I feel like at the very least, these are the numbers we're gonna be sticking by. But yeah, guys, I rambled on long enough. I want to hear it all from you in the comments down below. What do you think of my reasoning? So, yeah. Anyways, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, guys.